What if I told you that those big, heavy Eisenhower dollars sitting in your drawer could be worth more than a brand new car, and in some cases, even more than a house? At first glance, these coins look ordinary, worn down, and forgotten by time. But hidden among them are shocking rarities, minting mistakes, and varieties so scarce that collectors have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars just to own one. In this video, we're going to uncover the truth behind these Ike dollars, coins that many people overlook, but that could secretly hold the key to your retirement fund. So grab your old change jars and let's dive in, because you might already have one of these treasures in your collection without even realizing it. First up, we're opening this journey with the 2000p Sacagawea Dollar, the very first year of issue for this now famous golden coin. At first glance, this one looks pretty rough. The golden surface has dulled, it carries heavy circulation marks, and the edges are worn down by years of use. But believe me when I say this coin holds more than just face value. It carries a piece of American history, and, in some cases, the chance at life-changing money. Asterisk, when the Sacagawea Dollar launched in 2000, the U.S. Mint had high hopes. They wanted to replace the unpopular Susan B. Anthony dollar with something bold, new, and recognizable. That's why they used a unique manganese brass alloy that gave it that distinctive golden color. Over 1 billion of these 2000p dollars were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, flooding the market. With such high mintage, most people thought these coins would never be rare or valuable. But history proved otherwise, because collectors discovered something special hiding among them. Asterisk, the most legendary variety of this coin is known as the Cheerios Dollar. Back in 1999, the Mint partnered with General Mills and placed about 5,500 2000 dated Sacagawea dollars in the Cheerios cereal boxes as a promotion. At the time, nobody realized these coins had a prototype reverse design. If you look closely at the eagle's tail feathers, the Cheerios Dollar shows detailed, sharply defined lines that don't appear on the regular coins. For years, people who happened to save these giveaways didn't realize what they had. Today, those Cheerios varieties are among the holy grails of modern use coinage. Even circulated examples can bring $25,000 to $40,000, while high-grade uncirculated pieces have crossed the $100,000 mark, with some experts suggesting their true market ceiling could be well into the $300,000 range if the right collector comes along. Asterisk, but the Cheerios Dollar isn't the only surprise. Even standard 2000p Sacagaweas can carry shocking premiums in the right grade. While your average circulated piece might only sell for a small premium over its face value, say, $1 or $2, the story changes completely when you move into mint state condition. Coins graded MS67 or higher have commanded serious prices at auction. One remarkable example in superb gem, quality brought in over $7,500. That's right, what most people see as just a common golden dollar can actually be worth thousands if it survives in pristine condition. Asterisk. And then there are the errors. This is where things get truly wild. Collectors have uncovered double die obverses, striking errors, off-center strikes, even coins struck on the wrong planchets. Each one tells a unique story and carries its own shocking value. A major error on a 2000p can easily run from $5,000 to $50,000, depending on its rarity and condition. And then there are the errors. This is where things get truly wild. Collectors have uncovered double die obverses, striking errors, off-center strikes, even coins struck on the wrong planchets. Each one tells a unique story and carries its own shocking value. A major error on a 2000p can easily run from $5,000 to $50,000, depending on its rarity and condition. Asterisk, think about the odds here. With over 1 billion coins made, the vast majority are ordinary. But hidden among them are a handful of gems coins worth enough to pay off a house or set you up for retirement. And that's what makes this hobby so exciting. You could be holding a piece of pocket change that looks dull, scratched, and worthless, but under the right circumstances, it's a six-figure collectible. Asterisk, this 2000-piece Sacagawea Dollar reminds us why coin collecting isn't just about shiny coins and perfect surfaces. It's about stories, surprises, and the thrill of discovery. Some of these coins have literally gone from a cereal box to the auction block, pulling in more money than most people make in an entire year. That's not just shocking, it's life-changing. Asterisk, so, while this particular piece may look like it's seen better days, don't underestimate the 2000-piece Sacagawea. Its place in history as the first of its kind, its connection to the legendary Cheerios promotion, and its potential for errors and high-grade surprises make it one of the most fascinating modern coins you'll ever come across. And believe me, the surprises don't stop here, because the next coin we're about to look at may just raise the stakes even higher. Moving on, let's take a closer look at this 2009 Native American Sacagawea Dollar. At first glance, this coin may seem like just another worn piece of change, but it's part of a fascinating chapter in use coinage. The year 2009 was significant because it introduced a brand new reverse design under the Native American $1 coin program, replacing the eagle reverse that had appeared from 2000 to 2008. This particular design, which shows a Native American woman planting seeds in a field of corn, beans, and squash, honors the Three Sisters method of planting that was vital to Native American agriculture. That small detail connects this coin not just to money, but to a piece of cultural and historical heritage. Asterisk now. The condition of this coin clearly shows heavy circulation wear, with plenty of discoloration and loss of sharp details. But don't let that fool you into thinking it's worthless. Even coins in poor condition like this can fetch a premium if they have the right mint mark, low mintage, or most importantly errors. In 2009, these dollars were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Philadelphia mint struck about 39 million coins, while Denver produced slightly fewer. That's a fairly modest number compared to billions of quarters and pennies made in the same year. For collectors, that alone makes them worth holding on to. Asterisk. What really gets collectors excited, however, are the rare errors that can appear on these coins. Some 2009 Sacagawea dollars have been discovered with double strikes, off-center strikes, or even planchet errors where the coin wasn't properly formed. A dramatic example, like a double-struck piece where you see two overlapping images, could easily catapult the value of a coin from pocket change to thousands of dollars. And if a coin like that were graded in high mint state condition, say MS67 or MS68 by PCGS or NGC, you're suddenly looking at auction results hitting well into the six figures. Yes, that's right. Coins like these, when rare enough, can climb toward $300,000 or more under the right circumstances. Asterisk, even without errors. Pristine examples of this 2009 issue are valuable. While your average circulated coin may only trade for a couple of dollars, an uncirculated coin with its original golden luster intact can reach $50 to $200 depending on grade. Proof versions, struck with extra care for collectors, are even more sought after and can command impressive prices. But the real headline grabbers are always those error coins. Imagine stumbling upon a coin that looks like this one in your pocket, but upon closer inspection, it shows doubling on the reverse or a completely off-center strike. Collectors would be lining up with bids, and that $1 piece could become the star of your collection. Asterisk, and here's the shocking part. Some 2009 Native American dollars have sold in online auctions for well over $100,000, particularly when authenticated as rare mint errors or top pop high grades. A coin that most people would overlook as just another dull dollar could in fact be your ticket to a life-changing payday. Think about it. A coin minted in massive numbers, intended for circulation, now being fought over by collectors who understand its scarcity in pristine form. Asterisk. So the lesson here is simple: don't ignore these Sacagawea dollars, especially the 2009 Native American issues. Even in bad condition like the one we're holding today, it's part of a story that has captivated collectors for over a decade. And who knows? The next one you come across might just be that elusive six-figure treasure hiding in plain sight. Next up, we have the 2001D Sacagawea Dollar. At first glance, this coin might not look like much. It's worn down, the golden luster has faded, and it looks like the kind of coin you brush aside as just another dollar that passed through countless hands. But here's where things get interesting. Behind this tired-looking coin is a story of rarity, demand, and shocking values that can make your jaw drop. The 2001D Sacagawea Dollar comes from the Denver Mint. It was part of the early run of Sacagawea Dollars, a series first introduced in 2000 to replace the Susan B. Anthony dollar. At the time, the U.S. Mint was eager to give Americans a coin they would actually use. They tried a golden-colored coin to stand out from quarters and nickels. But what happened? People didn't embrace it. Many of these dollars went straight into storage, bags, and rolls that sat untouched for decades. And that's exactly why some of these coins became sleeper treasures. Now, here's where collectors' hearts start to race. The 2001D is notorious for having some dramatic minting issues. Weak strikes, die cracks, and plan-chip flaws all appear in circulation. But then there are the big ones, the so-called mule errors, where Sacagawea dollars were struck with state quarter obverse dies. One of these mule errors, with George Washington's portrait on the front and the Sacagawea eagle reverse on the back, sold for nearly $300,000 at auction. Imagine pulling a coin like that out of a handful of pocket change. It's the sort of story that becomes legend in coin collecting circles. Even without a mule error, pristine 2001D Sacagawea dollars are highly sought after. Most of the coins in circulation have scratches, dull color, and wear from heavy handling. But a coin that's been preserved in uncirculated condition, tucked away since the day it left the mint, can command big money. Graded MS-67 examples have reached 4 figures. And higher grades push into territory few collectors can afford. But let's add a twist here. Suppose you had a 2001D with an unusual strike-through error, a piece of lint, grease, or other debris caught in the dies when the coin was struck. Suddenly, that otherwise ordinary-looking coin becomes one of a kind. Error collectors jump at the chance to own something no one else can ever have. That's when values leap from a few hundred into the tens of thousands. Pair that with the Sacagawea mule legend, and suddenly people believe anything is possible. And here's the real kicker. Many 2001D Sacagawea dollars are still out there in circulation. They didn't vanish into silver hoards or government buybacks. They weren't melted down. They simply passed through stores, vending machines, and banks. Some are hiding in plain sight in old jars, desk drawers, or boxes of forgotten change. The odds of finding a six-figure mule are slim, yes, but just imagine being that one lucky person. It's the dream every collector holds on to, the story that keeps them checking every single coin that crosses their path out. So while this coin in front of us may look tired and ordinary, don't let appearances fool you. The 2001D Sacagawea Dollar has a history packed with surprises, and the potential values tied to its rarest varieties are enough to make anyone's head spin. From a few dollars in worn condition to thousands for a gem uncirculated piece, all the way up to hundreds of thousands for the legendary mule error, this coin proves that even the most unassuming pocket change could hold a life-changing treasure. Moving on, we have a fascinating Sacagawea dollar that ties directly into America's earliest history, the 2009 issue featuring the Wampanoag Treaty of 1621. At first glance, this coin may look heavily circulated, its golden surface dull from years of handling. But hidden beneath that wear lies a story that collectors find absolutely irresistible. The obverse shows the familiar portrait of Sacagawea carrying her infant son Jean-Baptiste. But it's the reverse that makes this coin so historically charged, showing hands exchanging a ceremonial pipe to honor the peace treaty between the Wampanoag people and the Pilgrims in 1621. Few modern coins carry such a powerful historical message, and that alone has made it highly collectible. Now, The condition of this example may be far from mint. The scratches, dirt, and fading details are proof of its long journey through commerce. But here's the shocking truth: condition is not the only factor with this issue. Collectors love it for the history it represents, and when rare errors appear, even beat-up coins like this can command jaw-dropping premiums. For instance, a 2009 Sacagawea with a dramatic strike-through error or a double die reverse could transform an ordinary $1 coin into a 5-figure treasure overnight. Imagine finding one in your change and discovering it's worth tens of thousands. In typical circulated condition, these 2009 treaty dollars often fetch just a couple of bucks, maybe $2 to $5. But once you move into higher grades, the value jumps dramatically. An uncirculated specimen, graded MS66, can bring in $200 to $500. Push that grade higher into MS67, and you're suddenly looking at values well above $1,000. And here's where things get unbelievable. Some of the finest graded examples with perfect strikes have crossed the auction block at prices above $25,000. And when you add in a major minting error, the ceiling goes even higher, with collectors battling fiercely to own such a unique piece of history. Asterisk. What really adds to the excitement is the relatively low survival rate of pristine pieces. While millions were minted, the majority went straight into circulation and ended up just like the one we're looking at here: scratched, worn, and passed from hand to hand. Finding one in flawless condition is like striking gold. This explains why even a coin that looks rough can still create a buzz among collectors when it carries historical weight or an error. Asterisk. Think about it. A dollar coin minted in 2009, meant to be ordinary pocket change, could instead hold enough value to buy a brand new car. That's the shock factor here. And for U.S. collectors, particularly those who focus on Native American themes and historical commemoratives, this coin isn't just money. It's a connection to America's earliest story of survival, peace, and fragile alliances. Asterisk. So don't underestimate these dull-looking Sacagawea dollars. Behind their faded surfaces may be the ticket to six-figure payouts. Keep an eye out for 2009 treaty dollars in higher grades, or those with visible minting quirks. Because the day you spot one could be the day you realize your spare change has turned into your retirement fund. Moving on, let's take a look at this fascinating 2009 Native American Great Law of Peace dollar. At first glance, you'll notice it carries the same obverse design of Sacagawea and her infant son Jean-Baptiste, but the reverse tells a much deeper story. This one features a powerful symbol from the Haudenosaunee, also known as the Iroquois Confederacy, a bundle of arrows tied together with a belt, representing unity, strength, and peace. The message is clear. A single arrow can be broken easily, but when bound together, they cannot. This imagery harks back to the Great Law of Peace, the Constitution of the Iroquois Confederacy, which influenced ideas of democracy and governance even in the founding of the United States itself. Asterisk. The coin you're seeing here is in circulated condition, showing wear and handling marks, yet it still carries that golden hue that these manganese brass-clad dollars are known for. Most people who come across this coin in their pocket change would probably spend it without giving it a second thought. But collectors know better. This is one of the key issues of the Native American $1 series, first issued in 2009, with each year afterward highlighting a different contribution of Native peoples. Asterisk. Now here's where the story gets even more exciting. Errors and condition can take this coin from ordinary to extraordinary. For example, certain 2009 Great Law of Peace dollars were struck on improperly prepared planchets or show weak strikes, creating collectible varieties worth far more than face value. Even in standard mint state grades, untouched by circulation, these coins can fetch between $15 and $40 depending on quality. But the real surprises come with high-end grades and rare errors. A pristine MS67 example can jump to over $300 at auction, while dramatic minting mistakes, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or missing edge lettering, have been known to cross into the thousands. Imagine a coin you normally pass off as a dollar bill suddenly selling for over $25,000 because of a tiny error made at the U.S. Mint asterisk. It's also worth noting that because these coins were issued for circulation in relatively small numbers, compared to quarters and pennies, they tend to be harder to find in good condition. That makes survival rates of high-quality pieces even more limited, pushing values further up. Many collectors also seek these coins to complete full Native American dollar sets, giving even more demand to the 2009 issue since it was the first of its kind. Asterisk. So if you've got one of these coins lying around in a drawer or tucked away in your change jar, don't dismiss it just yet. Even in worn condition, it tells a story that links the Haudenosaunee's message of peace with America's own democratic roots. And if you're lucky enough to uncover an uncirculated or error example, you might just be holding a coin that's worth thousands, a piece of modern, American coinage that could change the way you look at pocket change forever. And finally, we come to a coin that will stop you in your tracks the moment you see it. At first glance, it may not look like much. It's worn, it's discolored, and most shocking of all, it's pierced with not one, but two heavy holes. For most people, this would be nothing more than scrap metal, maybe something once used as jewelry or strung on a keychain. But for seasoned collectors, a coin like this still carries a story worth far more than its rough surface suggests. You're looking at a 2000-piece Sacagawea dollar that has lived a hard life, and yet, against all odds, remains collectible. Asterisk. What makes this piece fascinating isn't just the damage, but the survival of key details despite its scars. The portrait of Sacagawea with her infant, Jean-Baptiste, is still visible, even though time has taken its toll. The 2000p mint mark remains intact, which confirms it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during the first year of issue for the Sacagawea Dollar. That alone adds a layer of desirability, since the inaugural run of these coins was massive, but only a small fraction survive in conditions that spark interest. And when one surfaces with a bizarre history, collectors pay attention. Asterisk, here's where things take a turn. A coin like this, with drilled holes, normally loses nearly all of its face value to collectors. But in certain cases, especially with first year of issue Sacagawea dollars, even damaged coins are kept for their novelty and their story. Imagine how many hands this coin passed through, how someone once decided to physically alter it, perhaps to wear it as a pendant, or maybe as a good luck charm. Those holes, destructive as they are, actually turn this dollar into an artifact of human behavior, which is something historians and niche collectors love to study. Asterisk. Now, let's talk about value, because this is where the shock comes in. In ordinary circulated condition without damage, a 2000-piece Sacagawea dollar might bring you just $1 or $2, unless, of course, it's one of the famous Cheerios Dollars with the enhanced eagle tail feathers, which can sell for $5,000 to $25,000, depending on grade. But here's the kicker. Even drilled examples like the one you're seeing can find buyers who pay anywhere from $15 to $50 simply because it's a conversation piece and part of the very first Sacagawea run. That's a huge leap from the $1 face value. Asterisk. But what if, and this is where collectors start dreaming, this specific coin were tied to a rare variety before it was drilled? If it had been one of those Cheerios pattern strikes, or a mule error with a state quarter obverse, we'd be talking six figures, even with the holes. Yes, that sounds unbelievable, but auction history proves it. Damaged rare coins, if they have the right pedigree or error, still command jaw-dropping sums. That means a coin like this isn't just dismissed. It gets examined closely, because nobody wants to overlook a six-figure piece hiding under two crude punctures. Asterisk. So as we wrap up this series, let this last coin remind you of something important. Rarity isn't always about beauty. Sometimes it's about survival, history, and even the strange journeys a coin takes after leaving the mint. This 2000p Sacagawea, with its battered look and twin holes, is a survivor, a storyteller, and yes, even in this condition, a collectible that proves you should never, ever dismiss what you hold in your hand. Because the next damaged coin you see might just be worth far more than you think.